So BLR versus SBR, which one is the right one? So residential property, as I said, 2015, prior to 2015 is BLR. After that is BR, and the next one will be SBR. So the rationale for that is that now we want to make sure all the bank using the same SBR, so we will tell what is the spread. So we will be able to tell, comparing bank to bank. If let's say you submit your loan for 500,000 to 3 different banks, and 3 different banks give you different effective lending rate, but then you know that their SBR is the same. So then you understand that they will evaluate your loan based on certain reason that they may not want to give because they think that they are higher risk to give at a lower rate, so they may not be profitable at a lower rate. So depends on size of the bank also. If the size of the bank is big enough, then they can give you a very competitive rate. And how desperate they are for the loan as well, because if they are desperate for the loan, then they will be able to negotiate. And if your loan amount is attractive enough, buying bulk, let's say buying bulk durian, so they see that you are a good paymaster, they will give you a lower rate. It's negotiable. So in that sense, when you compare between banks, then you understand that, well, maybe I can negotiate a bit lower for this particular bank because I have good track record, and actually comparing to other banks, their rate is a bit higher. I'm good customer, so they should give me a bit lower. So by such a comparison, more transparent way, you'll be able to effectively negotiate as well. How the effective lending rate is calculated can be more or less transparent to the consumer. So this is the OPR for 2021. You can see from July 2021 back to January 2021, 1.75. And then this is the chart I want to show, the BLR rate and the effective indicative effective lending rate. This one is indicative for the reason that this rate is not applicable to a particular individual. Why? Because the particular individual may have his condition which is different from others, that the bank will evaluate and appropriately allocate the effective lending rate. So the commercial and Islamic source, all these are based on the Bank Negara website, so you can go and check. Now just to give you an example, in the eventual time we will use Malayan Banking Berhad and also give Public Bank Berhad. So these two, 1.75 is the best rate for Maybank, but then Public Bank is 2.27, and then best lending rate 5.4 and 5.47. Effective lending rate is 3.25 and 3.1. So let me explain again. So best rate is for those that have gotten their loan from 2015 onwards. Best lending rate is those who loan is before 2015. Effective lending rate is the correct number that you would use when you apply for loan now. So if you apply for loan expecting to get a good deal from a bank, then you can check the effective lending rate column. But this is indicative, so you apply and then you see whether your bank offer to you is at what amount. Maybe a bit higher than this amount. Usually they will put the lowest. Maybe to get this 3.25, you got to loan quite a substantial amount, quite a substantial sum, and also your profile has to be ideal. So if your profile not so good, then they will not give this high, this very low rate. So example 1, this is Maybank, indicates that its BR is 1.75. So this BR 1.75 equivalent to OPR already, and its ELR, effective lending rate charged for the customer, is 3.25. The BLR is 5.40. So the BR may be fixed to OPR, but the spread, the interest rate add on, only then you arrive at the ELR. So the good credit rating, reduced spread, and depend on risk profile, as I explained just now. So let's say we go to example 2. Public Bank indicates that the BR is 2.27, although the Maybank one is 1.75, and the effective lending rate charge on the consumer is 3.1. But when you see the Public Bank one compared to the Maybank 3.25, actually Public Bank, the effective lending rate is 3.1, lower than the Maybank. Again, I have to disclaim that this may be a particular case that is ideal situation. So if you give it to your bankers to approve your loan, maybe you will get almost the same 3.2 for both banks because your profile may arrive at public bank as 3.2 and then similar to Maybank also 3.2 but the BLR because it's 2015 and above so this one we may want to just ignore BLR because we don't use BLR now. The BR may be higher than the OPR, but the spread that means the differences between Maybank and public bank are clearly seen here. The spread for public bank is much lower so that even at the higher BR the public bank effective lending rate is still lower than the Maybank one. So due to competition, due to depending on the risk So this is for development banks these are not the same as commercial merchant bank. So the base rate is different, 2.6, 2.5, effective lending rate 3.4, 3.1 so now all the effective lending rate are around 3.1 to 3.5 depending on the types and amount that you are making a loan. Right, indicative effective lending rate actual interest charge this one just to highlight to you that the effective lending rate to individual loan application depends on borrower's credit condition, credit risk, liquid and the bank's operating cost and profit so this one if we have the SBR in the future, then the SBR will reflect the spread how the bank actually handle the risk so BLR, BR, ELR calculation example of how this is done. So usually you can say that the BLR is the old one, the BR is the more stringent way of looking at the rate between banks and then the effective lending rate so this one we will not know until how the bank inside what are they how they use to calculate the formula they use so the bank may indicate the BLR is 5.47 and its lending rate is 2.37 and then thus the interest effective lending rate calculated to 3.1 so if you were to add all these things it may not equal to each other so BLR, BR and effective lending rate you cannot use this formula that means the BLR minus the BR then you arrive at the effective lending rate this calculation cannot be used because it's not transparent inside so DSR is another term that they use for real estate loan related things the debt service ratio DSR. So it is actually the total monthly commitment over the net income. So what it means is that if you are committed to make payment for your housing loan, your car loan, your whatever loan outgoing the whole total loan commitment over your net income. Now net income here means what? Net income means when you take out the income tax and take out the EPF So of course if you are salaried man you receive a salary, your salary will take out the taxes and the EPF, then you receive that income that is called the net income. So your total commitment can be a smaller amount of your net income. Of course there are some people who spend more because their net income is actually not enough, so they will probably do some maybe other salary in that sense if you have a different income group then you plus again here plus rental income plus business income plus maybe other source of income so all this income it has to be less the taxes and the EPF, then the total monthly commitment this need to be calculated below 70%. So what are the monthly commitments they will put in so all these car loan, student loan, credit card bills, home loan. That means if you are applying for a new loan in the housing loan they will add in the new loan commitment here. So let's say you have 500 ringgit of car loan plus another few hundred ringgit of PPTPN, PTPTN outgoing every month, then your housing loan you are applying they are calculated 1,800 ringgit. So that 1,800 ringgit will be added here, then the total income in the salary plus your whatever other rental income whatever other source of income has to be proven. This one has to be proven. If it is rental income, has to be stamped the tenancy agreement has to be stamped. So this part must be less than 70%. So this is DSR lah. So how is it calculated? 70%. Sometimes high salary people, let's say you have 10,000 ringgit. Now if you have 10,000 ringgit income every month, then you can have, in fact, 3 houses. You're buying 3 houses. Every house monthly income is monthly installment is 2,000 each. You still have actually 4,000 left. But if you have smaller income, let's say in half, 5,000 ringgit monthly income, even you actually have one house to pay, 2,000 ringgit to pay, your amount left is only 2,000. I mean, 3 left with 2,000, not enough to actually eat already. So 60%, let's say for the standard of 70%, if the more the income, sometimes the bank will approve higher, even up to 70 or 75%. But if you have smaller income, some of the banks may not even approve it when it is 60%, because the leftover amount become very small. So in big cities, especially in KL, in Selangor area, or in high cost area like Johor, because of the fact that meals expenses is high, so even you actually use the same calculation, having 30% left for survival, the 30% may not actually survive very well in that city lah. So this calculation varies between places to places. So this part I think everybody quite able to understand. The other part I want to talk about is the scams that they used to do lah. So all these are loan compression. They call it loan compression because they compress all the loans at one time. That means to submit all the application to all the banks at one time. So all the banks will offer at one time. They are not actually able to check at one time. In the earlier time, they were unable to check actually this applicant already been given loan from the competing bank. So because bank wants to compete to give out loans, because they have the loan targets, all the officers in the bank want to make money, bonus at the end of the year. So they will usually approve when they see that this guy has not actually high commitment. So if a guy is making good income and not having commitment, then the banks want this guy as a good paymaster. So when they approve him, they will approve him lightly. All the other bank also approve him. So he suddenly got all the 4 offers from the so-called same applicant getting 4 loans. So he can choose to take 1 loan, but he will say, okay, well, I will buy 4 properties, 4 different properties, but his income cannot multiply by 4. But then who knows? The bank doesn't know. Developer very happy because he's selling to 4 units rather than selling 1 unit. So at the end, he ends up buying 4 units with 4 different banks, trying to service these 4 units, hoping that one day the 4 units will make money lah. So that part he's geared to disaster now, because now the 4 units probably all cannot rent out, or only 1 can rent out, and the rest 3 cannot rent out. So he want to sell, and his issue is nobody want to buy, and his loan every month have to pay 4 units instead of 1 unit. So this is the problem. And what happened is with the issue of the Bank Negara coming out with the guideline, transparent loan, if you look at the markup by some of the property scams, then they actually boost up the amount. They boost up 900,000 property to 1 million, then loan given at 90%. So totally no need to pay any cash down payment. So this makes the job easier for the developer to sell the property. Then the issue is actually the true value of the property is only 800,000. So when that happens, the valuation adjustment problem, eventually when he takes over the house, the key, and he wants to sell it in the secondary market, he can't even sell at 900,000. So when he cannot sell at 900,000, he will end up having a loan that is 900,000. The bank is taking higher risk, getting property which value at 800,000 but paying a loan at 900,000. The bank unnecessarily give away 100,000 risk. So this is the problem lah, rebate and cashback issue lah. So mark up to 1 million, as I said, loan margin 50%, take 900,000 loan, cashback given to the applicant. So some of these cashback issues now is illegal lah. So if he has a separate 4 different compressed loan approved, he will take back 400,000 cash, and you use this 400,000 cash to buy another property, or he will just spend this in a luxury lifestyle, showing it in Facebook, telling people he is so successful. So this is what happened in these issues raised by Bank Negara and the Association of Bank Malaysia. So this part is that the loan compression, where purchaser apply loans for multiple units with various banks but make declaration that the purchase was for one same unit. The transparency of selling price declared by developer, in which the sales and purchase agreement must reflect the net price of the property after considering rebate and discount offered by the developer. So all these issues is all because developer trying to sell, and scammers trying to get the money fast, and therefore the bank issuing a loan which is not matching or overinflated compared to the real property price. We will talk about this more about it in the detail in the policy part on the government policy. So legal processes in a loan agreement, this part I just want to quickly go through because we have gone through this part in the earlier chapters, likely in purchaser chapter as well as in developer chapter. Legal processes: deed of assignment, fee payable by applicant, loan purchaser. So when the purchaser go to bank, the purchaser will have a separate agreement, loan agreement with the bank. This one, the loan agreement with the bank, has to pay a legal fee So the legal fee in some situation, the lawyer which is engaged by the developer, in order to waive some of these fees, the legal part, legal fee for loan, the developer, some may absorb, some may not. So you have to make sure you actually get it correct. So if the developer say, well, waiver of legal fee, maybe the waiver of legal fee is for sales and purchase agreement, not for loan agreement. So you have to check. And if it is also for loan agreement, so the legal fee may only be the legal fee, the disbursement and all the other charges, SST, not waive. So you have to still pay some small sum of money the legal fee part the developer would absorb. So that part, yes, developer is helping the purchaser to secure the loan. Right, the stamp fee for the loan is 0.5%. So this part, some of it, the developer absorb it also, but then it depends. So we have to be sure in the way my earlier chapters are talking about waiver of legal fee is referring to the sales and purchase agreement, not referring to the loan agreement, because loan agreement by right has nothing to do with the developer. The loan agreement is between the purchaser and the bank, not between the purchaser and the developer. So if you say that the developer and the purchaser, the loan agreement is not part of the sales and purchase. Sales and purchase is an individual contract, loan agreement another individual contract. So stamp duty for the loan agreement, 0.5% of the loan amount, this one is to be paid by the purchaser, the one that who apply for the loan. Of course, in certain way, government give a lot of exemption. In the HOC, home ownership campaign, this 0.5% of the loan for stamp duty actually is exempted. So let's say if the purchaser goes to buy a HOC project from the developer, and the developer side say, well, we will waive your legal fee and stamp duty, that part is waiving of a sales and purchase agreement, stamp duty on the chopping or just adjudication of the stamp duty adjudication for the sales and purchase agreement, and also the legal fee for the sales and purchase agreement, but it doesn't include the legal fee for loan. But if it includes the legal fee for loan, that means the same lawyer in the developer appointed lawyer panel actually does the sales and purchase agreement, at the same time also doing the loan agreement, but the legal fee charges are paid by the developer lah, and for the stamp duty that to be paid for the loan, the 0.5% is actually HOC waive, no need to pay. But if it is not HOC waive, that means if this particular project is not under HOC, then the two-way lah, one is the developer take up this particular stamp duty payment, or the stamp duty payment is not taken up, has to be paid by purchaser lah. So there is these differences to explain here. Right, insurance. So when you buy a property, you take a loan. The loan is a risk, a liability for payment of this house in order to service all the installment. So you can buy insurance to protect this particular risk. So this is called mortgage reducing term assurance. As the time passes, then the loan slowly complete payment, then the risk is removed. So the insurance also reduce the coverage of the risk because the risk is diminishing, they becoming less. So therefore, risk of death or total permanent disability during the repayment period will be handled by the MRTA. So there is also another one, MLTA, mortgage reducing become mortgage level term assurance. This is important, and if you pay off the loan earlier, then the remaining days or remaining time that is not protected, the insurance premium will be refunded back. So other insurance types, as I mentioned, MLTA offer repayment of the outstanding loan, home loan, as well as guarantee cash value back at the end of the scheme. So this one is built in with the type of saving as well as life insurance. So during event of death or total permanent disability, the cash sum payout covers the loan outstanding to pay off, and then the person does not need to service the loan anymore, and the house, the property will be complete in payment. So this life term insurance thing tagged to the property for the level term assurance. So in conclusion, we have spoken in length about mortgage as the basis of how it is in legal aspect as well. Banks, how the banks operate, and types of rates, BLR, BR, SBR, OPR, and the other things like Islamic banking and the development banks, and how to qualify for loan, what is the DSR and the loan to value ratio, how to view all these abuses, what are the scams that has happened in the banking financial side on the real estate, loan agreement, stamping duty fees, and the understanding of what is waiver of duty, waiver of stamp duty in the aspect of a loan agreement, and then the exemption that we spoke about for the HOC, and the current time where government give encouragement to buy property So we also spoke about fees on loan agreement, legal fee, how it is paid, and also what are the waivers some of the developer give plus the last part is the insurance. Right, thank you very much. I'm Thomas Sim, PE 2066. My mobile number is displayed. These are my websites. findWHERE.info is a geo-linking listing website. Geo-linking means a property is a link to the surrounding services, services, meaning that if you buy a property, you would want to know about what are the available amenities surrounding it, which includes hotel, tuition center, clinics, supermarket, bakeries, tourism spots, all these. So this website is interesting. It can present in a way a linking of listings. That means one listing is linked to another listing. The second one, which is contract2you.com, is actually a listing website for ranking of property by a comparative index. This one I use a concept of cancer staging. That means all the property are staged in a called formula and to give out a index calculation. So this figure would be laid out in a list of ranking. So you can actually rank the property by certain indexes. My real property online is a website for collection of all my videos and all the write-up that I have done, plus some of my listing. Because Real Estate Fund is a small sort of agency website. It's a standard custom listing type of website. It's using a directory platform, good for easy deployment in the agency business. estateagentexam.com is my website for studying of the diploma in estate agency examination, which is the qualifying exam for being a registered estate agent. Thank you very much. I hope you can stay in for my few more chapters in the coming days. Thank you very much.